cocktail sessions, educational and inspirational talks from experienced startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders.
Next up, we got Mr. Andy White from the Vegas Tech Fund. Come on up. Oh, you brought your own water. Or is that for me? It's not for me. Okay. Oh, you're blocking the book with it. Thanks, Andy. Do you want a mic? You don't get a mic. We're just going to sign language. Here you go. Have a mic.
I have a very short repertoire when it comes to sign language, Frank, but I'm happy to use it.
Two. That's the second one, you know. I know the other one you probably know. Okay, so Mr. White, it's been a while since we've caught up.
It has. You've been busy flying around the country.
Yeah. Don't eat the mic. She's got pink lipstick on it. So let's talk about you and what you've been up to.
Okay.
Oh, look it arrived. Thank you. He's got lots of water. Why are you giving him more water?
I've had some fun stories, Andy.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Andy, for those of you who don't know, runs the Vegas Tech Fund. It's a $50 million fund focused on early stage startups. You've been writing a check every single week for 2 years.
Approximately, yeah.
That's a humongous checkbook.
It's not mine.
Okay. So let's talk about that. What is it? When you first started, we were one of the first people I met out here. You were just getting here and getting going with a couple investments. Can you talk a little bit about what your strategy's been with investing and things that you've been looking at here in the community?
Sure. So over the past 2 years, we have made 90 investments in different teams. We've certainly learned a lot from that. We have had enough time to have the complete cycle happen now with at least a few teams.
Not hitting a home run, double, and triple, and base hit? What are you talking about?
Yeah, basically that.
Okay. Not a lot of baseball fans here, I can tell. It didn't really go over well, did that?
Oh, maybe
okay,
they,
all right.
maybe
it just
they
wasn't
just
funny.
They
it
just
wasn't
didn't know
fun.
that.
It wasn't really.
Yeah.
We didn't have that sound.
No.
Okay.
Can we get a prompt for when Frank's funny?
Yeah, we need an applause. We need a laughter sign or something. People don't quite know. Should we laugh or cry? Yank him off the stage? Okay, keep going.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep going with that.
Yeah.
So a few companies that things didn't work out as well as they would like, a few others that have had some exits, and now a lot of companies in the middle. So we've adjusted constantly, kind of sharing or working with the advice that we would give them, and we're adjusting our philosophy. We're about halfway through the fund now, and things are changing. But we've seen incredible progress, and the community here has been fantastic support. And I'm still, after 2 years, can't imagine being anywhere else doing what I love to do.
Let's talk about your philosophy, because you mentioned it changed. When we first got here, there was one thing, and now you're doing something a little different. I want to talk about that, and then maybe about what you're looking ahead to do.
Sure. So when we first got here, we were just looking to all of the potential and possibility. We knew it was going to be very important to make sure we had the support structure in place for growing the community. So we made some investments based on building out that infrastructure. Now that we have that infrastructure in place, we've got a solid community building up around it. Then the focus now is getting back to the actual core concept of getting the right people here for the right reasons. We know we've got the infrastructure to support it. We're ready to have teams that are growing at a significant rate, and now continue to support them in these changing needs as we get larger and larger companies here, adding more and more value in different ways.
All right, so you've mentioned the word community probably 3 or 4 times. We should have a community counter. How many times you've mentioned that?
Or drink.
Or, yeah, we could drink every time. That'd be fine. Do we have a mixologist here? No? Oh, shoot. I generally try to bring one with us. So what I was going to say is there's a book over here, and it's got some missing pages. You might not find the pages that you're looking for in there. There was a chapter. It was about community that was going to be in the book. You actually shared a lot of knowledge about community building and things you're doing. I just wanted to, it didn't make it.
It did not.
I'm sorry.
So I have read the book. I have highlighted over 50 different sentences and phrases that are in the book.
Wow.
I tried to share them, but apparently Amazon doesn't know that I am the same person both in Kindle and on Amazon. So we're working on that.
Okay.
There is only one that was a statement that I made. And we spent quite a bit of time working on this material that I have since been told is now a part of the lost archives of startup mixology.
And yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I thought this was a good forum to break the news. About that. First off, sorry about that. I know we've spent a lot of time talking through the community chapter. Unfortunately, I wrote 100,000 words, and the book could only be about 50, but I negotiated it to 60,000. So we had to cut some things, and that chapter got cut. We did, however, pull one of the sentences from that chapter, insert it into another place, and that's the sentence that we found your name under. So.
And I did, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how it went down.
So that is much appreciated.
Yeah.
I hope the book is a big success, and we can come up with
hot in here.
A second print that maybe would have some enhanced content.
But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Here, I can share. So the Lost Archives, if you bought the book through Tech Cocktail, you get the Lost Chapters, which will include the Andy White Lost Chapters. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. So, but let's talk about that. So community in general, like it wasn't something that, the reason it was cut from the book was literally because it's hard to.
Because community is not important.
No. Oh, no. It did just get canceled on NBC though, that show, Community, which I thought was ironic.
It's coming back to
I
Yahoo.
saw it. It's coming on Yahoo. Yeah. So it obviously is important to Yahoo. What I wanted to say though is that it's hard to take that as an element in a startup, like an ingredient that says, hey, I've got to go community my company or whatever. I think it's something that's across the board you should be involved in. And that's where we try to like take the pieces and break them apart in the entire book rather than one chapter and here's your element that you should do. So that's the reason it actually got cut. Can you talk though about like community in general and like what your thoughts are on it? Because obviously here specifically, there's a big emphasis on community, and before the change in philosophy, there was even you talked a lot about ROC. For those of you who don't know, that's ROC. No, that's return on community, and that's no longer right.
And now we know how it got to 100,000 words or pages or whatever that was.
I like to tell a long story short, or in this case, a short story long.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'll let you share the knowledge now.
So yes, we do believe that community is very important. It has to be an element of a startup. Mm-hmm. Like anything else, though, it's has to be only to a certain extent. You can overdo it, and we have seen that happen. Mm-hmm. But it's an integral part of everything that we're doing. It's a part of it no matter what, and really it's just a matter of your choice as to how much of it that you participate in and how much you can get out of it. Mm-hmm.
But the approach here was literally build a community that is like offers everything, right? And that's still the approach. I mean, it has all the different elements. I mean, you're not an accelerator. You've got a pretty specific view on accelerators. You want to share that the Cliff Notes version of that?
Sure. The world does not need another accelerator.
That's pretty much sums it up. But why?
Yeah. So
why Andy White?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, I did run an accelerator prior to this, so I do believe in the philosophy of the accelerator, and I think there are very many very good ones out there, which is exactly the point.
Why do you need another one?
Right, and we don't need another one just to have another one, but I think there are certainly opportunities for them, and I think that we have opportunities in Las Vegas that would be suitable for that, and we are still pursuing those, but we want to make sure that when it does happen, that it is the best at whatever it's doing, and there's not a need to have the best accelerator in Las Vegas. That's a pretty low bar since there aren't any. So we want to shoot a little higher than that and make sure that it does take advantage of the resources that we have in our community, the mentors, the other companies, and that when a team is looking at it, they know that if they're in that particular industry, there's no place they'd rather go to build their company.
That's a good point. One question, though, about that. There is something that's similar to an accelerator, not really accelerator, doesn't call itself an accelerator here. What is that?
Sure. So one of our philosophies for the fund is that we want to make sure that we can enable doers and
like
help
doing
them
things.
make
Okay.
things happen. Give them the resources they need to get shit done. And
This is a PG show.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Get shoot done.
Yeah. Damn it.
It's tough.
Yeah. It reminded
And
me
so
of it.
in doing that, those doers come in a lot of different flavors. Sometimes they are to the point where they've already found a team and are executing on an idea. But many times it's an individual who's got an idea and has been working on it for a while, but's not quite sure what to do with it. And so our very first program is called The Mill, where we invest $5,000 in an entrepreneur each week. They then work with us for 8 weeks to help discover if that idea is worth pursuing further or not. From there, that same program can also invest another time to give that entrepreneur a chance to build on that. After that, we have our version of a dorm room fund that happens to include residency, which kind of looks like an accelerator.
Interesting.
But it's not.
It's
It's
not.
a dorm room fund.
Okay.
And the idea there is that those teams are coming here to Las Vegas to help get integrated into the community, and that the community resources are what are supporting them. It's not the program itself.
And I think
it's
there's
really
some folks
about
that are part of
connections.
that are here, right? Or we're
A
supposed
few
to be.
that have been a part of or
Yeah,
were a part
yeah.
of before. Yeah,
Okay.
a couple out there.
I saw a hand somewhere.
I did not hear a clap though.
Oh, I didn't either. Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. I want to talk about what's next.
What's next?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Thanks. So yeah, we've been at it for 2 years, halfway through the fund. Similar advice we'd give to the startups.
They always-
Now's the time to
yeah.
start looking at what is next.
More money, more problems.
That's right.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, the right time to start raising funds is not when you run out of money.
Oh, shoot.
I know. But it is when you have a new story to tell, and we think we have one of those. So we're developing that, and it's getting to be much bigger than just Las Vegas, and that's been the plan from the beginning.
Like outside the valley. You're going to expand outside the valley.
Expand
The
much
city.
further than that.
Oh, wow.
So even with what we've been doing with the downtown project, the idea is that if we can figure these things out in the middle of the desert, then some of these concepts applied to other areas should be able to do some amazing things. And as that is evolving, we've kind of developed this concept of the city as a startup. And we think that this is a good time to start getting a better idea of what that means.
Does that mean all you need is $350 million?
I think you probably do it with about 300.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's really starting to look at where does that money come from. I mean, it's definitely a resource that's required, but it's much more about the buy-in from the community as a whole that this is the way things are going to change in the future. We have so many areas out there where technology is seen as this single asset class that if you weren't in technology in the first place, then it's really scary and you don't understand it, so you don't invest in it. And so this is where we've created that myth of the third generation tech entrepreneur. It's been said that it takes 3 generations of tech entrepreneurs for your community to become a tech hub. Now, obviously, there's only a few cities that have had that happen. And the reason for that is the scarcity of investments from others within the community. Most any community that's still here has wealthy individuals that have done amazing things that can add value to a company. Now we just have to figure out how to bring that together with this rapidly changing ecosystem that we're building. And it's no longer about building a tech hub or an innovation center. This is just how business is done. And if we don't pursue it, then your only other choice really is for your city to go the other direction.
I can just burn.
Possibly.
Okay. I meant, and also rejuvenate
What's your
from
next
the
question,
ashes. Anyway, great having you on today, Andy. It's been a lot of fun. Let's hear it for Andy White. Always a pleasure.